Crispy, savoury cevapcici are traditionally known to be cooked on the grill. However, mine are made in a pan, they consist of lentils, and are super juicy, delicious, and packed with protein. So folks, if you're craving this classic dish, but prepared in a different way, then please stick around. I'm going to show you exactly how it's done. So before I get to the lentils, I'm going to start with the structure. So what will give the mixture its structure later, in my case today, are red onions. For that, I'm putting a flame directly under the... And instead of red onions, you could also take, for instance, very finely shredded Savoy cabbage, or some very finely sliced leek strips. Any of these would work perfectly. It's not just explicitly about the taste, of course, but above all, I want to give structure to the mix with these sautéed vegetables. That means I'll finely chop the strips, not cubes, but really strips. So whether you're using cabbage or leeks, it should later have a slightly fibrous texture. So you really want to make sure the strips are as thin as possible, and additionally that naturally gives it a truly wonderful flavor. Onions always belong with cevapcici anyway. If you can't get it that fine, you can naturally just grab a kitchen grater. So the pan here already looks nice and hot, and I'll add 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Let's just turn down the heat a little bit here. I'll start by gently sweating the onion strips for about 3 to 4 minutes over a really low heat. And that's essentially how every truly perfect dish begins. Olive oil, onions, just absolutely fantastic. So the last of the onions are going in. Alright, like I said, do this nice and easy. We don't want it to burn, but to turn beautifully translucent over a gentle heat. Right now I'll get started on the lentils. I've had these soaking in clear water for about 3/4 of an hour now, but you can also put them in to soak the night before. That's absolutely no problem at all. A minimum of 45 minutes. So I'm going to place these now right here into a sieve, and then I will thoroughly rinse them with clear water. It's really important to soak them, so that we can digest them without any issues, and rinsing them thoroughly, so that all the excess starch is properly removed. Alright, let me just quickly check on the onions for a moment. Oh yes, they're looking absolutely fantastic, just perfect. They look great, becoming beautifully translucent. I'm really doing this with a lot of patience. The temperatures get very low. Then the onions will become nice and sweet. Really delicious. So then I'll put the lentils into a blender. Of course, if you have a high-performance blender, you can just toss it right in. I'm going to do this today with an immersion blender. And with an immersion blender or a high-speed blender, puree it until it's perfectly smooth. Yes, it's turned out really beautifully, so silky and creamy. Let's just take a quick peek at the onions. They look absolutely fantastic, really. Yes, they're already looking quite good, I'd say. But I'll let them cook for just another minute here, gently in the fat. Then I'll take a bowl and bring it over here, and then I'll put the lentil mixture into it. It has really turned out very well. And they actually work wonderfully on the grill too, so it's also a super thing for the summer. Pan or grill, something like that, always tastes delicious. So, I'm going to bind the mixture just a little bit with chickpea flour, although the lentil itself is of course already packed with an incredible amount of protein. Protein, as you know, binds very well, which means I don't have to add tons of binding agent here. Just a small amount for structure, about 2 tablespoons. Then 2 tablespoons of breadcrumbs are added. 2 to 3, you can always still work on it a little bit. For now, I'm just making a moldable mass out of this. Yes, you can already tell right here directly while mixing how well the mixture binds. And it's not just that these small cevapcici are truly super, super, super delicious, but above all, they're healthy too, yes. Lentils are so incredibly versatile, yes. Whether I'm making some delicious creams, pastes, stews, fried dishes, or a salad. It's incredibly, incredibly versatile, but also served right here as these small patties, or in this particular instance, cevapcici. All right, so the onions, I'm going to put them on display now. They look absolutely wonderful, truly magnificent, don't you think? I truly hope that you can see them clearly here on camera and appreciate all their intricate detail. I'm now going to place these directly. Mix it in with the rest of the mixture. Yes, just go ahead and use the fat that's already in there. I like to add breadcrumbs to this, for example, right here. Yes, that makes the mixture just a little bit lighter later on. The onion also helps to make the mixture light and airy. That's why I said earlier, it's not just for the taste, but primarily for its wonderful texture. And the entire thing is seasoned with a really good amount of salt. Pepper. You'll need 1½ teaspoons of sweet paprika powder, along with ½ teaspoon of ground cumin and 1 full teaspoon of dried marjoram. Also, add some chili flakes or cayenne pepper, depending entirely on your personal preference. If you're not a fan of spiciness, then simply leave it out. All right, then I'll go ahead and grab myself another large clove of garlic. What I actually find interesting in the original recipes for cevapcici is that every region always has its own recipe, and I always find it quite fantastic that there isn't just one recipe, but various possibilities. It's like a fricadelle, or in the Arab world, the kocht patty. Everyone has their own peculiarities, but even in the areas where cevapcici are prepared, the garlic cloves are, among other things, first softened by boiling and then grated. I find that absolutely wonderful. But generally, when it comes to spices, people there naturally just try things out, experiment, and everyone does it a little bit according to their own way. Garlic, however, is usually a key ingredient in every cevapcici recipe. So give everything a good thorough mix. Yes, and I hope you can see this clearly here. This is a wonderfully firm mixture. This is truly delicious, and I actually still have some chopped parsley right here from the previous video. Last week I showed all of you how to prepare a really delicious crispy cauliflower from the oven, and this is what was actually left over from that particular recipe. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of this chopped parsley right into it now. I'll just lightly moisten my hands a little bit, and then I'll form these into small cevapcici right here. And also, when it comes to their length, it actually varies quite a lot, from about 5 centimeters all the way up to 10, or even sometimes longer. So, depending on the specific region, or perhaps even each individual household, it can be a little bit different. Yeah, for my part, I'm not going to make them too terribly long here. But form them into nice little rolls. So they're not just super, super delicious, but they also pack a decent portion of protein. So a little bit more olive oil to that. Okay, I'll quickly make a very, very simple, quick dip now, so these patties aren't all alone on the plate. And let's just get it right in. Lower the temperature a little bit so they don't get scorched immediately. Can I turn around? Wow, it's very important. Don't set the pan heat too high. These things also need to cook through a little bit on the inside. So they shouldn't just get a nice crispy crust, but they should also cook through thoroughly. I'd say cook them for about 3 minutes on each side. 3 to 4 minutes is pretty ideal. You can lean one against the other to prevent them from tipping over. Oh, I'm just going to quickly whip up a really fast dip right now, and that is from 2 tablespoons of vegan skyr. You can also use soy yogurt, 2 tablespoons of ayvar, a paprika paste from the Balkans. It pairs perfectly with it. Just roughly fold it in here. Let's also add a little bit of fresh parsley to this, and then a nice bright splash of lemon juice. Not that much at all. Yes, take a look here. We've got a really nice, delicious dip. So I think we can now get some from the other side. Oh, yes, absolutely wonderful. So now we can also get a good crunch from the last side. That really looks quite fantastic. Yummy! All right, I've already set up a nice, cozy, dim atmosphere, and now I'll plate it. At the very bottom, I'll add a little bit of the dip, creating a small pool of sauce right here, and now I'll place the individual cevapcici to prepare it on the surface. Come on, you really have to take a look at these absolutely beautiful examples. Aren't these just some truly gorgeous cevapcici? And my super delicious, crispy, hearty, juicy lentil cevapcici are ready. I hope your mouth is already watering and I can't wait any longer. I must try them right away. I'll just break one of these open. Wow! Everyone, just take a look at this right here. I truly hope you can clearly see what I'm showing you inside. I'll try my best to hold it right up to the camera for you. It's incredibly juicy and wonderfully tender. It's so incredibly, truly delicious, and it has such a wonderful texture, all thanks to the onions. Wow. It's nice and juicy and truly tender. Yes, it's quite important that you add a little breadcrumbs in here. The onions or the cabbage, depending on what you choose to use, should be cut into strips, then sautéed until translucent. Folks, I'd be absolutely thrilled if you try making these super easy to prepare cevapcici patties. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're looking for a delicious side dish to go with it, then just click down here. There I'll show you the cauliflower with the delicious gravy from last week. And otherwise, stay fit, healthy and cheerful. Enjoy your meal. Feel free to leave me a comment, a like and a hype. Until then, this has been your Alex. Bye for now. Bye.